So moving on from AI, we'll go to an announcement from Google, who have just released their first folding smartphone. This is the Pixel Fold. This is their first entry into the market. Obviously, for a long time, big tech companies were scared to release the folding phones because of the issues that were having with the screens and the lines that were being created. It now seems that those have started to go away, and the smartphone/tablet sectors have become one, and will become one moving forward. There was an interview with Sundar, and he was saying that, look, it's very much a stepping stone product. It's not the end of what they want it to be, but it's kind of cool, and it's starting to become a reality. Who knows? Maybe Apple's iPhone 1 or 2 generations later will be able to be folded. Interesting, right? I appreciate we don't have the product in front of us. We can't actually test it like we do a lot of times on the podcast when we're doing hardware reviews. But just from that clip, just from your impressions of folding phones, if you think that'll be a thing, if you think it'll be a fad, what's your perspective on Google entering the market and that product? Miguel, start with yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of the folding sort of modality. The first thing that I think when I see that video is, how the heck do I get like screen protectors and protective casings to work with this sort of thing? It's got 3, glass sides to it. How do I put it down? How do I navigate this? What happens if I drop it?
They could break a lot easier, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And the hinge as well. You'd imagine that that's a soft spot for it. Like if I drop it and it just snaps in half, that would be unfortunate.
It's great for Google. I mean, they can...
Twice the sales.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And then I'm also a fan of smaller devices. So personally, like increasing the thickness is probably last on my wish list for a new device. I don't think that Apple will be going this direction at all.
Okay.
For me, they sit at the crossroads of technology and fashion at this point. I think all of their products lean in that direction, and I don't see this as breaking new ground in that direction. I think we're much, much more likely to see a return towards the like Google Glass type thing. Sure. I think eyewear for Apple makes much more sense as a new device, and I think
next month they're releasing, they're planning to release their XR headset. And I know that's it's more VR rather than AR, and they pushed back the glasses like these by a couple of years because they just couldn't get the tech small enough. But when they have a mixed reality headset, people say that's the next smartphone rather than just a folding mechanism in it.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. This to me feels like a one generation. I hate to say gimmick, but sort of. And I don't think Apple does one generation gimmicks. I think that's something that you do when you're competing in a larger space with more brands. Yeah. And I don't think Apple view themselves as competing against most Android phones. And I say that as an Android user.
Sure. Yeah.
So I don't think they have a need for these types of USPs. I think Android phones typically do because they need to differentiate in a different way.
Yeah. Okay. Fred, what's your view on folding phones and the Pixel Fold, please?
So I have a folding phone, which I was gifted. It's the Samsung.
Do you have it with you
one?
now?
I don't have it with me. And that should say something. But I think it's one of these things that it's trying to do too many things. So, a tablet is a tablet, and it should be a great tablet and designed as such and used as such. And a phone should be a phone. And when you try to build them together, it's neither one. It won't be good at either one. It'll be too small to be a tablet and too large to really be an effective phone. And I mean, the price point is double what a phone costs roughly. And it is Android, which I am an Apple fanboy. But even so, and to Mikhail's point, I don't see Apple moving there for all the reasons I said. People like their hardware and their software and their purpose-built devices, and I think they should continue what they're doing.
Well, why did you stop using the folding phone that was given to you?
I didn't find a use case for it, and the size didn't work for me. It was too big. I'm used to carrying a thin phone. This was very thick. Yeah. I didn't really use that many of the features. It felt gimmicky, and even though I didn't pay for it, I just after like a week I stopped using it. Yeah. Sitting in a drawer.
Harry, what's your point of view?
Yeah, that's the perfect exhibit A of my. I think this is just a pointless gimmick, to be honest. I would never buy one. I think it's a technology trying to find a problem. It solves absolutely nothing. like, if any, yeah, fine, you get a little bit of a bigger screen maybe, but quite frankly, I'd much rather a phone without a screen, to be quite honest with you. Or have no phone at all. That would be nice. But it's like, you know, the idea from it feels like a little bit like Samsung and Google are kind of clutching at straws really to kind of compete in the smartphone market. I mean, Apple they're just so dominant in it, and it's I don't know. It feels unnecessary to me. You've got all of your other screens in your house, your TV, your laptop to do the Netflix watching and everything else, and actually, you know, having a bigger screen on you at all times, that just doesn't fit my use case for phones.